Hello everyone, welcome to the Joking Dolphin Gaming Podcast. I'm Mark, and as always, I'm joined by Matthew.
Hello.
And Nathan.
Regards, everybody.
How are we doing?
Not too
Doing
shabby.
well. Yeah.
Jolly good.
Did we all see the snow yesterday?
I didn't see a single fly.
I didn't see any snow.
What? It must have just been me then.
It was just your imagination.
Well, it might have been, yeah. It came down really heavy at about 8 o'clock, and it started settling, but it's all gone now.
Lies. Don't believe you. News.
Let's move on. It didn't happen. Yeah, news.
Yeah. So, Google Stadia. Have you heard about it? We've all heard of Google Stadia, just about, because it doesn't get much coverage. Let's be honest, nobody really pays much attention to it. And Google Stadia have now announced that they're closing all their first-party studios. 14 months. 14 months after launch.
Did they even make any games?
I don't think so. I mean, this is astonishing development. Why on earth would you buy one now?
Well, that's it. I feel sorry for anybody who got like the founders pack, with the controller, the Chromecast Ultra, and the 3 months free of the Pro membership. If anybody ever continued that, I'm sorry, I guess. I think we could all see the writing on the wall though when it first came out, because there was nothing that compelling. I mean, it was interesting because they came out with all this 4K, no latency speak, but it just never seems to have got to where they've said it should be at for me.
What's the thing? Was there any first-party games really? Did they allow enough time for them to actually develop anything for it? I mean, I'm guessing they didn't launch with anything.
Well, 14 months is not a very long time at all.
And this is Google. I think they've got the money to try and keep.
Oh, of course they have. Yeah.
Until something comes along. But now that they're just going to be doing third-party stuff, there's literally no reason to buy Stadia at all.
No.
Why on earth would you?
Well, I mean, it's the platform where Cyberpunk runs the best, apparently. So.
Well,
that's one thing.
Okay. We'll give it that, but it's a game that has issues in other parts.
That's all it needs, Cyberpunk. I mean,
the Google Cyberpunk.
The Google Cyberpunk. That's it. Rebrand.
I think their biggest issue really was that they launched the platform with hardly any like games on it. Like surely you would like kind of build the library up of agreements with developers and whatnot to put their games on your platform, and then launch with a big library for people to be able to play.
Yeah,
so that was the whole point.
When they first launched, they really pushed Destiny 2 and Resident Evil and a load of other third-party games that they had with it. I think maybe they should have spent a year trying to develop something first-party, then released it, so they had something different to show.
Yeah, I do think probably the pandemic that we're all still in is probably had a big effect on it as well. I don't think that was to be expected.
I disagree with that in some way, because you think more people would be playing Stadia because we've seen such an upturn in gaming. If they were going to do it and it was going to succeed, it should have succeeded in this period.
And this is 14 months ago the launch was. So they should have been in development before the pandemic. So things should have been there, ready to go.
But I think it's also... I think it was very ambitious for what it needed to be as well. To be able to run like 4K 60 frames a second, you need like an incredibly good internet connection, which unfortunately most of the world just doesn't have yet.
Yeah, that's another thing. That the whole streaming thing doesn't interest me at all. I think I want a thing. I want a game. I want to own it.
I like physical games. It really puts me off if I can't have something.
Yeah. So that's gone down the wayside then.
Yeah, but it opens it up for Amazon to push their side of things, because they've been working on something similar with Luna. So
yeah, do we think that's going to go well? I don't.
To be fair, their track record of creating games isn't gone well either. So
yeah.
Well, they bring a game out that flopped. They put it back into beta and then they cancelled it indefinitely and refunded everybody. And that was the first first-party game that they really ran with.
Well, there's no marketing. That's their issue. There's just no marketing for it. Not even like getting Twitch streamers to play your game to get some sort of buzz for it. They didn't even do that. So that's why I went down the Swanee.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it with like games like Fall Guys and Among Us and Hades, that they've got such a big online following and Twitch stream following. And it just makes you want to play it. It's I think that's what these companies like Google and Amazon, even Apple, if they want to get into the gaming space and do well in 2021, this is what they need to be doing. They need to be pushing their first-party games, if they do any, and pushing them in the right way, so we can't ignore it.
Yep.
How much can you get Stadia for? How much does it cost?
I don't know.
I can't remember now.
When it first came out, I think it was something like £120, and you got the controller, which is actually a pretty nice controller. You got the Chromecast Ultra, which is about 70 quid on its own, and then you got 3 months of like the Pro membership, which gave you access to all the games, and I think you got Destiny 2 for free. So it was a nice little package for £120 for 3 months, like unlimited gaming, pretty much. And I'd say at the time, like when they first touted it, it was a viable option, and I actually thought about doing it because of all the different games that I could access for that time. Yeah. And if anything, for like the Chromecast Ultra, because I know I'd probably end up using that with or without the Stadia. But yeah, it's gone the way of the Ouya and a few other streaming platforms in the past.
I'd be tempted just to buy one as a relic. Just to have.
As a relic.
This is a part of gaming history that failed miserably.
Yeah. I've got my Atari 5200, so that's like my relic of failure.
Any got any other news?
I'll go.
Shall I carry on?
Never said it.
So as we all know, it's Tomb Raider's 25th anniversary this year, and they're really ramping up the Tomb Raider side of things. So there's actually going to be an animated series that's going to release on Netflix.
Yay!
Yeah, so that was announced. Yeah, more gaming stuff, as if we didn't have enough. So that was announced on the 27th of January via Twitter, and that they were working on a Tomb Raider animated series. There's no more information at this. Yeah, that's right. And also, there's been some news about the new game that they're working on. And apparently it's going to tie together the first 3 games and the latest 3 games in the franchise. So it might be interesting to see what they do with that.
I mean, these... Oh, go on, sorry.
No, go.
Oh, I was going to say that these... This rebooted trilogy, as it's known as, I think they're now classing it as like the prequel trilogy. So these are like all set before the first games, which is a bit interesting.
Well, that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Because isn't she already Tomb Raider in the original? Whereas these
these 3 games are like her getting to that stage. Yeah. So
it's been hard going from 3D to polygonical.
Yeah, triangular.
Triangular
assets. We'll leave it at that.
Just add a little tidbit to the Tomb Raider Netflix thing. I did see that apparently the actual series is set sometime after Shadow of the Tomb Raider, so it'll carry that story on, I suppose.
I've not played that one yet. I played the first 2, but not that one yet.
Yeah.
Was that one done by a different studio or something like that? Because I don't think it got quite as favourable reviews as the other 2. Or it had bugs or something like that.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I might be wrong. That's what I heard.
I know it was on PS Plus recently, so
yeah,
I've got it.
Yeah, so I've got it. We need to play it.
But if you want to let's continue with the Netflix thing.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a Netflix leak that showed that there were going to be a live-action Zelda game. No, sorry, Zelda series.
Zelda game. Netflix is making a Zelda game.
But then Nintendo pulled the plug because of the leak. So they decided not to do it anymore. There's also going to be a Star Fox claymation series made by College Humor, and they pulled that one as well. So there was
all due to the leak, and they've just pulled it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Wow, I think that's a big statement, and something
it's a bit sad.
Well, it is, yeah.
It's sad, but I suppose Nintendo do things a bit differently, don't they? I don't think they like it when their stuff gets leaked and whatnot.
You're not having it.
They really crack down on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but it's just a leak that there's going to be a series. I mean, come on. It's a bit petty, I think.
It's not as if it's the Capcom leak where everything for the next few years has come out.
I suppose.
I
don't know how. I mean, they're pretty proud of their IPs, aren't they? So like any little thing that comes out about them, they're really protective of it. So I don't know. Maybe it's something they could revisit sometime down the line. Now that Netflix seems to be the whole of video game adaptations, but it is a bit of a shame that one league goes out and everything gets cancelled. Because I actually think that would have been pretty big back then, like Nintendo actually doing something with their IPs other than mobile games.
I mean, there was a parody trailer of the Star Fox series. Because I think that's on College Humor, which is that a YouTube site or website? I can't remember what it was.
I don't know it's a YouTube site. I think I know of it.
Yeah, but they did basically they did a parody like trailer for the Star Fox series called Fantastic Mr. Star Fox. So it was like a play
that sounds
on
amazing.
the Wes Anderson game.
Yeah,
Wes Anderson film. Sorry. Okay. There's potentially going to be an EU investigation into the Joy-Con of the Nintendo Switch.
Is this due to the drifting or?
Yeah.
So there's been 25,000 complaints. So the EU is called for the investigation into the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con drift. So this is from Eurogamer. I'm just going to read a couple of paragraphs. So the European Consumer Organisation, the BEUC, the EU's joint consumer programme, has called for a Europe-wide investigation into the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con drift after receiving more than 25,000 complaints from numerous countries. The group has now submitted its own complaints to the European Commission and national consumer protection authorities around Europe, based on its rules surrounding premature obsolescence, is that a word? And misleading emissions of key consumer information on the basis of the EU's Unfair Commercial Practices Directive. In the vast majority of cases, 88% of Nintendo Switch owners reported issues with their Joy-Con controllers within the first 2 years of use. The BEUC said. Complaints have been received from Switch owners in France, Belgium, the Netherlands, Portugal, Italy, Norway, Slovakia, Slovenia, and Greece. The BEUC has called for Nintendo to repair faulty Joy-Con for free, something that it has done in the past, to inform consumers of the limited lifespan of Joy-Con at present. There's more, but I won't go on. Now you've both got Switches, haven't you?
Yeah, I must be in the 12% because mine's been fine so far. Really? And I got mine fairly close to launch. I know Matt's had problems, haven't you, Matt?
I'm in the 88%. I've already had to replace my Joy-Cons.
As someone who doesn't have one, what's this? What drift exactly?
What is the drift?
What's happening? What's it doing?
So how it's reported is that it's always can't remember now. It's one specific Joy-Con. I think it's the left. I think it's the left one. I could be wrong, but basically just after a while of usage, the Joy-Con kind of I suppose sensor starts kind of basically doing its own thing, kind of slightly drifting, kind of from side to side. So like in a game, obviously, it's a bit of an issue of having to kind of fight with the controller to be doing what you want it to. To be fair, I had some issue with a PS4 controller with my right stick where it just kind of there was a drift on that as well, where like I was playing Red Dead 2 and my camera would just start rotating left. I'm like, okay, this is an issue.
Yeah, I've had a similar issue with a couple of my PS4 controllers because when I play FIFA, I can sometimes get a bit heavy-handed with the controller, thinking it'll make me go faster. And yeah, I've had a couple of right sticks that have been drifting on me, and I've just had to buy a new one because I'm not about that soldering life.
No, yeah, it's I think there's something with the soldering in the Joy-Con that I think it's actually no. It's the right Joy-Con. I've just thought, because it's something to do with I think like an infrared sensor in there that gets caught on. I don't know if it gets caught on something. I don't know the technical whole gist of why it drifts, but it's something to do with that sensor and the right stick that just starts making it all drift. And yeah, I've already had to replace mine. It took just over a year, maybe a year and a half for it to start, but it seems way too common of an issue.
So did you buy another one, or did you get Nintendo to replace?
I don't think at the time Nintendo were doing it for free in the UK. I know they did it
I think
for
I remember you
Japan.
talking about this. Yeah.
Yeah, they were doing it for Japan and the US, but in the UK they hadn't offered it yet.
Of course.
Yeah, so to be fair, I like the colours of the new ones that I got, so I suppose that's the only benefit.
So our old friend Cyberpunk back in the news.
Oh god.
Have you heard about the yes, have you heard about this? So CD Projekt Red, they released like modding like tools. So basically they said like you're allowed to mod our game on the PC and all that. Mm-hmm. So everyone saw this as a good thing. So it's a user friendly thing, isn't it? But then it turns out there's a potential that it could certain mods, when you put on, people could exploit the modding system to potentially take over your PC through a mod. So if you download a specific mod, there was I don't know the technicalities behind it, but there's like something, DLL files or something like that. It's in regards to them and how one of those could be exploited to download like a worm onto your computer to then take over the whole PC.
Oh, good.
I think it's been fixed now. I think yesterday or the day before, I think they released a patch for it. But it's another in the catalogue of errors, isn't it?
Yeah. Here we go. We'll let you do cool things with our game, including take over somebody's machine.
Yeah. But there was also concern because there was a potential that they could have infiltrated CD Projekt Red's servers as well, themselves, if it hadn't been raised.
Wow.
So it's I mean, it's a good job it was spotted, but the last thing they need is something like the likes of Capcom at the moment.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, that's another thing.
You'd sack the developer that worked on that DLL file.
Yeah, I mean, one episode, we're going to get past without talking about Cyberpunk. I promise.
Yeah, yeah.
But
and Spiders and Capcom.
As long as they keep doing stupid things, then we'll have to keep talking about.
Yeah, that's it. So CD Projekt Red, stop being stupid.
Yeah.
And we'll stop calling you out.
Yeah.
So the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake has been delayed indefinitely. So it doesn't mean it's not going to come out, but they've just not put a date on it. So Ubisoft made a statement via their Twitter account on the 5th of February, which said, we've made a decision to shift the release of Prince of Persia, the Sands of Time remake, to a later date. And that's literally all they've said to this point. So that's been moved along. I'm really looking forward to it. Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, because I loved the game on the PS2. I didn't like Warrior Within for reasons, but I'm looking forward to that one.
It's good. It's a good classic. Hopefully, it should be good once it comes out.
I wish more developers would delay things indefinitely. Stop putting
dates on things.
Yeah. It clearly don't work, especially now during the pandemic, because things aren't getting released properly. Yeah. But hopefully, something that will launch properly is Mass Effect Legendary Edition. So they released a bunch of information about the new game. Well, not new game, but you know what I mean. So basically, this is the website. I know you're looking forward to this as well, aren't you, Matt?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we posted the wrong date on the last podcast that I recall, because apparently some retailer had it down for March, and then they've just come out and said, yeah, it's actually
May the 14th.
Yeah. Although, ouch, 7 days after Resident Evil Village.
Oh, is it? Well, where's your time going to be spent? Actually, no.
We know it's going to be a village.
My time is going to be spent on a new experience.
But you probably finish Resi before that comes anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
There's no doubt you're going to be on launch, aren't you?
Well, I'd like to have it by launch. Hopefully, I have a well. This is my reason of that. I'll only get it if I've got a PS5 at that point. Because if I don't have a PS5,
you're not getting it.
I'm not going to get the PS4 version. I've got to.
Well, apparently,
I need those graphics. I need those.
We're going to be getting some more shipments in on the 18th of Feb, so you never know.
Right.
And apparently, it's going to be a bit easier to get this time.
So, scalpers will come and nick them all. They don't exist.
It's fabrication. People have just 3D printed shells of PlayStation 5s, and it's not even real.
So back to Mass Effect. They released a bunch of stuff on the website. So it's 3 games, 1 launcher. So play through the single-player based content and over 40 DLC from all 3 new games, including promo weapons, armors, packs. I can't actually remember what they are from the original game, but remastered for a new generation. Experience the trilogy in 4K Ultra HD with enhanced performance, visuals, and graphics, all available in HDR. The new Shepherd customizations with improved hair, makeup, eye color, and skin tones. You can create your Shepherd in a unified character creator. Because I think it was each game had its own separate one, didn't it? If I remember rightly.
Yes. I think there was a link between 2 and 3. I think you could import like the whole all of Shepherds into 3. But I know 1 was separate. Sorry.
And now the infamous FemShep from Mass Effect 3 can be used in all 3.
That's why I used in Mass Effect 3 because voice actor actress was much better, in my opinion.
The game's been given a full world building pass, including environmental art, VFX, and level relighting. I mean, have you seen some of the screenshots? They do look nice.
Yeah, it looks really good. The first game, like, really got bumping graphics.
Yeah, I think the first one is the one that's got the most
enhancements.
Overhaul.
Yeah.
Because I think they've actually.
Well, it's the oldest, isn't it?
Yeah, because there were quite a few changes from 1 to 2 and 3, weren't there?
Mm.
I think they've made some changes to the Mako as well. I think they've changed like the control system.
Yes, yeah. I think. Well, hopefully, if it controls anything like Mass Effect 3, then it'll be better for Mass Effect 1 because it was terrible.
I hated the Mako in the first game.
Really didn't like the first one.
Well, I liked the first game, but I just didn't like the Mako in it. I didn't like those.
That's what I mean.
Damn it, irritating. So yeah, as we said earlier, May 14th. Look forward to that one.
A little bit. I'm a bit disappointed that they've left out is the multiplayer from Mass Effect 3. So I actually quite enjoyed it.
I think I remember them saying why they cut this out, and I think in order to put that in, it would have taken the same amount of time as it did to overhaul Mass Effect 1 or something like that. So I couldn't understand why
they
delay it.
I enjoyed it. There was me and I had a group of friends who played it regularly. It was really good fun. It was like one of the better sort of like horde survival modes that I've played in games. So, but
there's also the question. There's also the question of how many are going to work on the next Mass Effect.
Yeah, see, you've got shiny.
Podcast listeners won't have any idea what that meant.
Nathan has a shiny. Is it Rosella in Pokemon Go?
How exciting that is! Have you heard over the past couple of days, Warner Bros. Games have patented the Nemesis system from their games?
Yes, from the.
Yes. So this is taken from IGN. It says Warner Bros. Games Nemesis system patent was approved this week after multiple attempts. So Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment publishes on Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor and its 2017 sequel Shadow of War have finally managed to secure a patent for the franchise's signature Nemesis. The US Patent and Trademark Office released an issue notice on February 3rd, stated that the patent will go into effect on February 23rd of this year. Warner Bros. Has the option to maintain the patent through 2035, provided they keep up with the necessary fees. The patent fathers Nemesis characters' Nemesis foes, social vendettas, and followers in computer games It effectively codifies the functions of Monolith's Nemesis system and the sum of its parts as the property of Warner Brothers. While the language in the application is fairly obtuse, as most patent claims tend to be, the short version is that the patent covers a system featuring procedurally generated NPCs that exist in a hierarchy and interact with and will remember the actions of the players, have their appearance behavior altered by players, and thus place in that hierarchy can change and affect the position of other NPCs in said hierarchy. So, this has been met by a lot of backlash. Because the history of gaming is like reimagining things, isn't it? So mechanics are made for certain games, and then other developers come along, build on that.
Yeah.
Other mechanics.
Improve it and whatnot.
And it goes on and on. And a lot of people think this is going to stifle creativity. And this is going to set a precedent for other companies, other developers.
Oh, to patent their engines and have a closed off. Yeah.
And what's your thoughts on this? Because I don't like it one bit. I'm with everyone else.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I'm all for open source and people being able to access this kind of stuff to make whatever they want, really. It's one of the reasons why I like Dream so much, because people can use it to build whatever they want, and there's some really good stuff on there that people have imagined.
It's like, can you imagine if like the first person shooter be patented?
Yeah, to just Call of Duty, for example, and their company.
That would be insane. It'd be madness.
Yeah.
I just think this is a bad precedent to set. I don't like it at all.
I hope nobody else follows suit with this. I really do.
The only thing, just I suppose maybe I need to try and play a little bit of devil's advocate. I don't like the news, I don't like that they've panned it. But I think reading the same article from Eurogamer, I think they also, was it Eurogamer? It might be Eurogamer. They made mention that like other companies have panned certain mechanics before in the past. So for example, BioWare have a patent on their dialogue wheel that they use for their, obviously, Mass Effect, and I think Dragon Age have used it. But obviously that dialogue wheel has appeared in other games without any look of a lawsuit from BioWare. So it could just be that they're just protecting their assets, but not necessarily having to go after people who do create their own version of a Nemesis system, maybe.
Well, it might be that they sold the asset to them to be used, and we just don't know about it.
But they've still got the patent, though. Like, if other people use it, surely they're in their rights to go after people who try and.
But first, I don't understand how you patent a dialogue wheel. It's
just a game mechanic, isn't it, that they've come up with to solve a particular solution, and then it's become obviously quite popular in other games.
It'd be such a minor thing. It's just
It is.
I don't get it.
Is, but I mean, there's something else as well. Like I think was it Saga. So the little arrow in Crazy Taxi.
Oh, Crazy Taxi. Yeah.
They had a pattern on that as well.
Seriously, the arrow that goes above people, was it?
No, it goes above. Where it tells you where to go. Kind of like.
Oh, seriously.
I mean, that pattern has run out in 2018, but that's what some companies do. They patent certain mechanics that.
The arrow that shows you where you're going.
Yeah.
But wow. That was in BioShock, though, wasn't it? The arrow.
I think so. Well, many games have had a variant of something pointing to where you need to go, haven't they? So
yeah,
the Sega haven't come after them since. So
I think Sega have got their own problems to deal with.
We have to try and trust the Warner Brother games. I've only done this as a protection thing. Yeah.
Trust.
I mean, this they're not Activision, so hopefully.
Well, speaking of Activision, so have you heard about them being sued for copyright infringement? Activision Blizzard.
No.
Well, so in 2019 they released a character called Mara, one of their operators.
Oh yeah.
So Activision has been sued over a female character. So in 2019, this is from Polygon. In 2019, Call of Duty Modern Warfare publisher Activision Blizzard introduced a new character to its game and operator named Mara. A writer and photographer is now alleging that the company intentionally modelled Mara after his own character, called Cade Janus, from a short story called November Renaissance. Plaintiff Clayton Hagen, I want to say, filed a copyright infringement lawsuit in a Texas court on Tuesday, according to court documents first published by Torrent Freak. He alleged that Activision Blizzard and developer Infinity Ward willfully intended to model Mara after Cade Janus, including hiring the same model, Alex Zedra, to reproduce the photo shoot and scan her likeness for use in the game. Hagen said developer posted his Cade Janus photographs on the photography studio wall during the Call of Duty Modern Warfare shoot. Hagen said he originally hired Zedra in 2017 to model as Cade Janus before he pitched the story to movie studios. He later published photos on his website, in a calendar, and on Instagram. In addition to hiring the same talent, they also hired the same makeup professional who had prepared the talent for Hagen's Cade Janus photographs, lawyers wrote in the complaint. They instructed the makeup professional to prepare the talent exactly as she had done for Hagen's Cade Janus photographs. They instructed her to style the talent's hair exactly as she had done for Hagen's Cade Janus photographs, even using the same hairpiece extension. Hagen alleges that Activision Blizzard and Infinity Ward required the model and makeup artist to sign non-disclosure agreements to conceal their planned infringement. I find this astonishing. A company the size of Activision Blizzard, with the amount of money that they've got, particularly over this past year, that they couldn't come up with their own original person to do this.
Yeah.
I find it baffling. And I've seen like the photographs side by side, and it is cut paste. It's an open and shut case. They are pretty much identical.
What thing is, I mean, I think for what they do for the operators is they probably do look around to see what looks good, and then if they see that something that catches their eye, they probably do the research to see like who's the person, can we get them in, and whatnot.
Yeah, but you make enough changes for it to be somewhat different.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, this is I think this is where I have a little bit of issue on this one. Is that so? I read this this story when it first came out, and it mentions that he has a copyright on his story from something like 2012, 2013, but he'd only copyright the photos that he took in December of 2020, and that's like a year pretty much after that other character comes out. So, on the one hand, I can see, this is clearly blatant copying of a person's character within their, I suppose, registered IP. But the actual like lookness and usage of the person came after the character already came out. So it's like I don't know kind of like whose side I'm on, because again, this feels like he's done this as a bit of a cash grab again. In his own right, because obviously what Activision done is clearly copy the character. But again, it's like, shouldn't you have known this? I don't know, known something was going on? I don't know.
Yeah, but I can't defend Activision on this at all. It is blatant copy.
But I don't want to defend him as well, because it clearly seems like he's wanting some sort of money payout after.
Well, in my eyes, he's entitled to it.
Yeah, but he is. He's entitled to it.
He's entitled. Well, it's his photographs, but he didn't register them until later on. So
shoulda, woulda, coulda. I can't believe you're even going this way. You disappoint me, Matthew.
I'm going this way because I've seen people try and money grab all the time, and I don't want to defend Activision because I mean they're Activision. Let's put it that. But it's just, I don't know. It's the timing of everything that feels weird to me.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Any other news?
Got a little bit of news. So the bit of news I've got is recently I don't know if you guys remembered rumors or plans of the GoldenEye N64 game getting remastered back in 2008, but then suddenly just got cancelled due to like a disagreement between all parties. Because I was reading the story that like apparently there is a lot of different parties that have the hand on the James Bond license, and I mean, this game was meant to come out on Xbox 360 as part of their like Xbox Live arcade thing, but they just couldn't get everyone to agree to it. But recently, pretty much the whole game, practically almost finished, had leaked onto the internet, and people have been, and you can actually play it on like either an emulated Xbox 360 or like a proper Xbox 360 if you know how to do that, I suppose. And it's just like it's amazing just like how far they actually go with it. Like it's practically finished, other than some textures here and there kind of missing and certain features that should have been in. Like there's meant to be like a online multiplayer for it that was going to be going. And interestingly enough, this game was meant to come out in 2008. It had the feature that Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary has, where you can freely switch
to the old one. Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome.
so you can freely switch between like the remastered graphics and the old N64 graphics.
Yeah,
which would have been cool for like at the time, like being the first game to do it. That would have been amazing. But it's such a weird time for this game to suddenly come back up again.
Yeah. They should have taken it a step further, because what you could also do with the anniversary edition is just shout classic at your Kinect and it just switch it back. So
have it with Kinect, yeah. It's amazing though. Like graphically, it does look pretty good. Like really well done over the original. The funny little thing that I actually read about this was that so VCG, sorry, actually reviewed the game as if it'd come out, and they actually gave it like 5 out of 5 stars. They just said it was like a perfect remaster.
oh, nice.
Like, oh, imagine what we could have had. Instead, we got whatever that rubbish was on Wii.
So, do you remember that EA Play event from? Was it last year, or was it even the year before? Was it EA Play? So basically, at the very end, they announced there was going to be a new skate game.
Yes.
Yeah, but they didn't show anything, or it was just two blokes sat in their office who just said, "Oh, there's going to be a new skate game." And that's it. That's all they said. And then that was supposed to excite everyone. But it turns out that the new skate game is now going to be developed by a new studio in Vancouver called Full Circle. I have to say, I'm kind of disappointed in the whole skate scene at the moment in terms of games, because I don't know if you heard, but Vicarious Visions, who did the remaster of the Tony Hawk's game, they've been moved from the Activision side to the Blizzard side of Activision Blizzard. So it is unlikely that we will get another Tony Hawk's game from them. Which makes me sad.
I heard they got dissolved basically into Activision Blizzard, didn't they? So the actual studio doesn't exist anymore, or
I don't know. I don't know. I heard they got moved over to Blizzard because I think they were going to start working on Diablo 2. I think something like that.
Well, they're the master remasters, so if they could do a Diablo 2 remaster, I think everyone over that side will love it.
If this skate game could come and fill that gap for there, good. But with it being a new studio, we've got no previous to go on. So, will it be good? Will it be bad? Who knows?
Did you play Skate 3?
No, I didn't. But I heard very good things about it.
It was really good, and then at the time, it was easily the best skating game, like even above the Tony Hawk's. It was really good, very realistic.
Well, I think that was the time when Tony Hawk's was starting its decline, though, and that's when.
Well, you had like Tony Hawk 5,
Ride,
Rides, whatever else that you did.
Yeah, but we'll see how that goes. Last of Us Part 2.
Oh, this has come back. No.
Yeah, it's now become the most awarded video game of all time.
I can see why.
It has now won 274 awards.
Who was the previous record holder?
So, 176 of these was from media outlets and 98 Reader's Choice Awards. The previous holder was The Witcher 3, which had 251. So it's officially an alright game, despite what angry people on the internet might say.
Sod the haters. I've not even played it.
Well, there you go. Official. Go play it if you haven't.
Yeah, so has anybody heard that Ikea has developed a range of gaming furniture?
No. Go on.
Okay. So it's been soft launched in China last week. So Ikea have developed a new gaming range in collaboration with Asus's sub-brand Republic of Gamers. So they're going to be doing gaming chairs, gaming desks, cups. What else are they doing?
They all made out of wood.
Headphone holders. No. They do look really sleek, though. I mean, they've got that Nordic minimalist look to them, and they do look quite nice. I've been in the market for a desk for a while now, so I think I might, if they do bring it across to the UK, I might end up indulging, because some of it actually does look like nice stuff. And as you probably know, with IKEA, it's going to be fairly cheap. So it looks pretty nice, actually. They've got like a little cupboard thing with like a headphone holder at the side, so you can put all your equipment in there and stuff. There's about 30 or so items, and it looks pretty good. So I hope they bring that over, and then I'll go to IKEA, eat some meatballs, and buy some gaming stuff.
I've never been to an IKEA.
Have you not?
Have you not?
It's
Wow.
it's an experience.
It is, yeah.
Well, I won't be going to one anytime soon anyway. So.
Oh yeah, that's true. Maybe next year.
Yeah, here's hoping. Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga. It's been announced that it will contain 800 unique characters, and 300 of them will be playable.
Right.
That's quite a lot. So apparently the game is apparently being built up. It's been built from the ground up, and it will have a new engine with an explorable open world and space battles the player will randomly encounter. And there will be 23 planets and moons and 28 unique locations.
Wow.
I'm actually quite looking forward to this one.
Because
what does this include? So is it?
Well, it's going to be.
Is this all the Lego games? I can't.
I don't think it's going to be even the Lego games, because with the sounds of it, it's literally just going to be its own thing, maybe.
Well, I think the levels might be the same. I don't know. I might be wrong.
It might be the same. So, if they did do it, they've got what? They've got so there's Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga that combined.
So that's.
I think the first two games, where it was the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
And then they had Lego Star Wars:
The Force
Awakens, which was more of a focus on just episode 7. I don't think they did one for The Last Jedi. So I think. I don't think
they have any for 8 or 9.
No, I don't think so.
It seems odd if they don't include them in this.
Well, it's a complete saga, isn't it? So they've got to do 8 and 9 at some point. Those will be like the new content that you've not played before.
Yeah.
So. My only one wish is I really just want online co-op.
Be nice, wouldn't it?
Like,
yeah, that
they had it in early Lego games, but I don't think they had the servers to really take potential of it. So like they took it out after, I think, Complete Saga for Lego Star Wars, and then I've never been able to 100% Lego game since. But no, this one should be pretty good, especially with them building it from the ground up again with a new engine. Because I think it was starting to get a little bit stale. Like they kept on doing some new stuff with it, but it was always kind of the same basis of just punch, kick, special attack, and then whatever.
A bit of platforming thrown in there for good measure.
Yeah. The platforming has always been quite nice in Lego games. It's just nice, chill games, just to relax to and just.
Yeah.
They're all easy to platinum. That's what I found.
Yeah.
I found it to be the quickest games to platinum. Well, maybe not quickest, but the easiest.
Well, if I get this one, maybe I'll be able to platinum a game for the first time. Woo!
Well, there'll be a lot of levels in this one, though. So this will no doubt be the biggest Lego game there is, isn't there?
I mean, the sounds were like random space battles sound pretty cool as well, though. I wonder how they'll handle that.
Yeah, I think that's just part of like the open world when you're traveling, I imagine. Open universe, shall I say.
I want the space battles to be like Lego's version of Battlefront 2. That'd be great. And then you can see like little Lego bricks like
Blocks
fall off
flying
as
up
you shoot.
everywhere.
That'd be kind of cool.
Random spacemen floating around.
Yeah.
Because there's gonna be like Lego humor in there, isn't there? I mean, that's one of the cool things about the Lego games, isn't it? They always manage to find the humor in it.
I think I've always liked the original ones when there was no voice acting. They seem to be a little bit more innovative when it came to like the cutscenes they had to copy.
Yeah, trying to show expression and that kind of
Yeah, there was more like visual humor than
it's like visual gags and things like that. Yeah.
that was always fun.
I'm looking forward to that one. That's gonna be quite good. I'm out of news.
Right, I've got a little bit of news that I've got. So I suppose in conjunction with the MLB, the Major League Baseball in America, them and Sony have announced that their long-running MLB series that was usually PlayStation exclusive is now going the show, yeah. So they're going multi-platform, and this year will be the first year they'll be on Xbox. But what's more interesting is it's going to be the first PlayStation Studios game on Xbox.
Wow.
So, yeah, I thought it was quite interesting. I was like, oh, we've got a PlayStation game on Xbox.
I wonder what's going on with that then. Why has that happened?
Apparently, it was some sort of deal that the LMB wanted, that they finally wanted their series to be, I suppose, open. Yeah, so they can make more sales, obviously.
Makes sense.
And I mean, I suppose in America, they love their sports, and Xbox.
Sports.
So, yeah, it'd be interesting. It's a bit of a strange one, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah, they are good.
Seeing a PlayStation game. Are they?
Yeah, they are good. They are good representation of the sport.
There's always like in the I remember reading like a few years ago. There's some sort of big hoo-ha about someone getting like all home runs or something as a competition. I don't know. I think it might have been something that MLB made for one game specifically. Some like so many home runs. Yeah, Mathew, is it that?
Yeah.
Right. There's my knowledge on American sports. Only two last pieces of news that I've got, and at some point we will go through a podcast without me talking about Resident Evil. But
no, we won't.
We probably won't. Probably won't until it comes out. So the biggest and most important news that came out between these podcasts is that Resident Evil's Village's art director, Tomonori Takano, in a tweet officially revealed the height for Lady Dimitrescu. And apparently from the bottom of her heel to the top of her hat, she is 9'6", which the internet went crazy for.
big lady.
Big tall lady.
The Master Chief's only 7'2", isn't he? So he's like a little kid in comparison.
It was funny. I was seeing images once this came out of like people making like height references to like other characters and whatnot, and like she just stands massively tall compared to like Master Chief and Kratos. And it was ridiculous because they also had like I saw another image of like the different tyrants that have been in the series, and funny enough, she's kind of actually about in the middle of everyone else that's come along, because you have like I think Nemesis in Resident Evil 3 is about 8 foot tall. Mr. X from Resident Evil 2 is like 7'1" or something like that, which is a lot smaller than I actually thought he was. And then you just got Leon, who's like 5'11", who's just like really small compared to everyone else. So yeah, I thought that was quite. It was quite funny to see when it came out, and just everyone just goes nuts about it.
Why has everyone become obsessed with this lady? I don't really
think because
understand
she's just tall. She's just tall.
Personally, I think it's just because she showed a bit of cleavage off, and everyone's just got mad. The thirst.
I mean, that adds to it.
Is this what lockdown's done to everyone?
Yeah,
pretty much. You should steal. You should see all like the step on me memes that have come out of this.
Oh god.
What?
I don't even want to know.
I don't even know. Yeah,
No, I'll not explain on this point. If you are interested, if you are listening, just look it up. I'm not providing any links. Just end this on some unfortunately sad news as well. Jeanette, I think it's Jeanette Mouse, and I hope I've said that right. Was the actress who was playing various characters in Village, but also played some of the witches who were under Lady D, I suppose. She unfortunately passed away sometime over the last 2 weeks. It's really sad news. Apparently, she was only 39 years old, which that's no age to go.
No, not nowadays.
It's not a good age. Apparently, she got a diagnosis back in April last year of colon cancer. So all the well wishes and respect to her family and friends. Obviously, sad news for the Resident Evil fans as well, but
I'm sure they'll put some sort of homage into the game for her, so that'll be nice.
Yeah, I mean, if she played the characters that's in the demo that you get to see, she's done a fantastic job just for the little bit that you see her. So I'm sure everyone will celebrate that character when she does come out. But yeah, just not an age to go at.
I've got one more bit. Has anybody seen the patents that have come out for PSVR quite recently?
No.
No? Okay. So this is quite interesting. So it seems like what they're trying to what the patent looks like is for something to be a bit more inclusive, because as you know, you've got your VR headset on, and then nobody else can really interact with you because it's just yourself, pretty much. But the patent, there's basically a TV in the background. There's something on the top of the TV, like a scanner or something, and each person's got their own controller, so that they can help interact with the game that you're playing with. The best way that I can explain it is one person's got the VR headset on, and the other people can see what's on screen. The person with the VR headset sees something different, and they can help you in the game, which is pretty cool. It reminded me of Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. I think that'd be quite a nice way of kind of including people into the game in a VR fashion as well, which might be quite good. But yeah, I think that looked just really interesting. And hopefully when they bring out the VR V2 or whatever it's going to be called, that they'll make it more inclusive for other people rather than just for one person.
Yeah, actually, when you said that it's got the person in VR sees one thing, people obviously outside of it see another thing on the screen, you can help and whatnot. I immediately thought of Nightmare. I don't know if you've seen the show or not, but I was like,
yes,
that'd be really kind of cool to if they did a game version of Nightmare. I mean, I wouldn't want to be the PSVR person because I know at some point there's a spider that obviously comes out, and that's not for me for VR at all. So no, but yeah, I just maybe I just missed that show. I just missed Nightmare.
It was a classic, I'll give you that. Have you guys heard about this? One more thing I've just thought about. This stock thing that's going on in America.
Oh, for GameStop, people shorting the stock. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I don't quite understand what's happening. Stocks and shares on. I don't know much about it.
I've tried to follow it, but
does anybody actually understand it?
I'm sure Nathan would.
Put me on the spot there.
Well, basically, the people are raising the stock level of GameStop or something like that. Then
people are raising it and then they're selling it really quickly, so that it drops down and people make a profit. So you've got to time it really right.
So yeah, so how I was trying to follow it, and I watched various videos people trying to explain it. There's these hedge funds that have looked at the stock of GameSpot and like seen like a projected, like, oh, it's probably going to get lower at some point. So they bought up stock, and then sold it quickly, and that like somehow lowers the I suppose stock price. But there was this Reddit group. I think they're called like.
Is it Wall Street?
Yeah, Wall Street
Bets?
Hacks or something like that.
Wall Street Bets, is it? Something like
Oh no, Wall Street Bets. I think it's Wall Street Bets. They noticed what was happening with GameSpot stocks, and all of them just started.
Sorry.
GameStop, yeah. Did I say something? Don't mind. They noticed like the stocks were going down by this like I suppose this strategy these hedge funds were doing. So they decided then to just buy a lot of stock in to it, and this like massively rose the price up to the point where the hedge funds that bought their price at the original now had to sell at this higher price, so they were losing out in like millions of dollars and whatnot. And it just kind of blew up to the point where like there was this one person who bought a lot of stock in and sold out once it got high enough. I think he made like $30,000. And he bought a lot of Nintendo Switches and like donated them to like these, I think children's hospitals or whatnot. I thought that was absolutely kind of the guy. Like, these hedge funds wouldn't do that. But
basically, the whole thing about this story is that it's the little people sticking it to Wall Street.
Yeah, little people were winning, and then I was reading like some of these stock apps that you could buy the stock from were like suddenly stopping people from buying the stock.
Ironically, there's one called Robin Hood, wasn't there?
Yes, yeah.
People trading.
Yeah.
When Robin Hood
stop the poor stealing from the rich.
Yeah.
That's not your motto.
Yeah. Well, that's a nice story. See how that's going to last then. But,
yeah, well, GameStop have been losing money for the last 2 years, so I think it'll go back down eventually.
Yeah, it'll probably drop back down at some point. Yeah. But it's just madness.
It can't last forever, but enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, definitely.
Good on them, people who are doing it. Shall we move on?
What are we all playing? Or have been playing?
Go on, Mark.
No.
All right.
Mark can go first.
Okay. So, I finished Skyrim. I completed Skyrim.
Wow.
Can you believe it or not?
With all your mods, with your lightsaber and everything?
Yep. So, I say I completed it. I completed the main quest. I decided to get very strict on myself. I just went, right, I'm just going to do the main quest. No more. I mean, I might talk to someone, get a quest, but I will not go act on that. I'll just take the quest and then be back on my way. So I've completed that. I mean, have you completed the main quest? Because I know it's quite easy to not do it. That's the thing, because there's so many distractions.
Yeah, I've not completed it all the way through.
Well, I won't mention anything about happens, but it's good. I enjoyed it. But the thing is about Skyrim, it's one of those games where you're just going to dip in and out, aren't you? It's just it's one of those games you keep coming back to, isn't it? So I'm just glad I finished that. Yeah. So I'm glad I finished it, and then I can move on to other games. So I don't want this hanging over me saying, "Oh, you've still not completed Skyrim yet." But so I finally done it. I've only played one more game though. And this was a game that actually came out a few weeks ago, and you guys will know that I was very eager to play this game, but at the time I couldn't play it because the servers were down. So I had to spend 2 weeks waiting for them to get fixed before I could actually play the game, and that is Hitman 3.
Wow, I didn't realise servers were down that long.
Yeah, this is the one downside to the games, is that it's always online, connected to servers. I mean, it does sort of work because it kind of like saves your progress as you go along. So it is good, but it is annoying if you go down. Now, I've only played the first level, because one thing about the Hitman games is, well, I've mentioned this before, but the first Hitman game was released episodically. So there were 6 levels released over like every 2 months. There were like a level release or something like that. Now, a lot of people obviously didn't like that kind of thing when you do that, but it didn't bother me as much because it made me appreciate each level more. It made me want to replay them and find out all the other aspects, and all the. Because the wonderful thing about the Hitman games is the level design is astonishing. Just the intricate details of them. and like every area's got like different entry and exit points, and you can always find some other way to get round to your target, etc. and things like that. So I've only played the first level on the new one, which is the one in Dubai. So it's not actually the Burj Khalifa, apparently. It's a fictional building called the Scepter, but I think it's supposed to represent the Burj Khalifa.
Yeah.
They just couldn't do it. So it is regarded as the tallest building in the world. But it's really good looking, astonishing. Love it. Now each level on the Hitman games, they have like mastery levels. So there's normally like 20 mastery levels, and with each level in that, so if you do a number of challenges, you get XP in each level, and they contribute to your mastery level. So the more challenges you do, the more XP you get, the more mastery level goes up. And with each mastery level, you unlock an item, maybe. So you might unlock a new lethal poison vial, or a weapon, maybe, or tranquilizer gun, whatever, or like a new starting point. So because when you start a fresh game, you'll always start at one point as part of the story. But as you more replay it, you can like choose new starting locations when you unlock. So you can like start in the kitchen just as a chef, and things like that, which is all very good in the replayability. So I've got to the point where I start to try and get the 20 mastery level before I move on to the next level, so I can try and get the most out of each individual level. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm on like 18 or something like that on this first level. But apart from that, I then tried it out in VR. Because this was the first. Because the Hitman 3 was released with VR compatibility. And in the story of the Hitman 3, you start on the outside of the building. You actually parachute in.
Oh no!
And you stood on like a metal girder thing on the outside of the building, above the clouds. So I thought, right, well, I've got to try this in VR, haven't I? Oh boy! Oh, the vertigo, man. Yeah, that was quite something.
Wow.
Now I have to say, it works well in. It sort of works well in VR, but I think this showed the fundamental flaws in VR as a whole. I don't think it was any part of the game's fault. It's like, obviously when you start VR, you've got to connect all the VR stuff up again.
Yeah.
And I realised that is such a faff.
Yeah, plug in and then having to plug the HDMI into the back of your telly and then into the PlayStation. And
it took me about 20 minutes to figure out, because I had everything connected up, and then when I put the headset on, it just said no HDMI. I'm like, I'm sure I put this in. So I don't understand what we're going. And then I realised it was like a mini HDMI thing that I didn't put back in the PS4. So that was a 20-minute faff that I didn't really want. And then after about 20 minutes of playing it, I started feeling a bit queasy.
Yeah.
And I think this to show the initial problems with VR gaming as a whole. The actual game itself was good when I was playing it, but there were some like tracking issues. Because the thing is, you don't use the move controllers; you use the actual DualShock.
Right.
Okay.
But it's quite cool because it's like you probably like grab people and strangle them like from the back, and you can get a golf club and just whack them off the ledge. It is good fun. It's like proper ragdoll physics and that kind of thing. It does work well, but it's a bit more difficult to be stealthy in VR, I found. So I just went around shooting people with a silenced pistol. But it's interesting because I did feel like I was actually playing GoldenEye whilst I was doing that, because I had like a silenced weapon going around the corridors, and I was just killing everyone basically. I'd ignored just doing the actual mission. I just went around trying to kill everyone with a pistol. But it's interesting that they're moving on to doing the James Bond game next, IO Interactive, because that did feel like I was playing a James Bond game whilst I was doing that. It's quite interesting. But in terms of the VR, it's perfectly fine. But as I say, I think VR needs to be better at. It needs to be better to be able to connect up to your PS4 and that kind of thing. I just, it's not worth the effort spending 20 minutes connecting it all up to then have 20 minutes of gameplay, and then you're feeling a bit iffy. It'd be much easier if it's just like switch it on, whack it on. You do your 20 minutes, you think that's great, but I've had enough now, put it back down. So you don't have to worry about changing up cables up again. Because it's unlikely that I'm going to go back to playing that now. That's the thing. It needs to be better at that, I think.
Well, I hope. I mean, I think they are working on the PSVR 2, aren't they? I think there is reports about it. Well, they need to do what? They need to do what Oculus have done, have like a wireless one. Where it's, to me, my issue with VR is having to use the PlayStation camera. Like, it doesn't quite track everything that's in my room. Yeah. Like, I have to be quite a far distance for it to kind of track everything.
This was something that was quite happening whilst I was playing Hitman. Is that I was like that one? So it shows your hands in front of you, and then occasionally they just start going. Like, looking all over the place.
No, that was just you, Mark.
Yeah, I just can't control myself. But
were you doing an impression of a former president?
It's just like it just makes suddenly the immersion just goes out the window. That's the thing. That's the problem.
Yeah. That's my problem with one of the, I think it's Sports Bar VR like 2.0 or something.
Yeah.
I've got an issue where I want to play like the pool game, but you have to like move to the kind of edge of the table or something, and then you kind of go adjust your height as well of like where your character is, but not really where you are. So it feels a bit like really awkward. And I think if they made the second one, they could definitely learn some lessons on what Oculus have done with their like wireless stuff.
Yeah, I think to fix VR, it definitely needs to be wireless, and you probably need to have a couple of cameras in your room so you could track yourself properly from different angles.
I don't think it needs cameras. Like, I think one of the latest Oculus ones have got tracking on like the remotes and your head, so it knows kind of like, okay, this your height's here, this is where your hands are, and you can look freely without cameras looking at you.
Yeah,
like you don't need that.
That would be the ideal situation.
Yeah,
because then you can work in low light as well. Because obviously cameras, you need to have quite a bright room in order to.
Yeah, it's probably an issue in my room as well. Not the greatest line in the world.
But yeah, that's what I've been playing. So go on, Nate.
Okay. Well, to be honest, I've not been playing much at all. One thing I do want to say, something that we did as like a joint thing, we finally won the Division 1 title on Pro Clubs after playing it for so many years. I think before FIFA 20, we'd only ever really got to Division 3, I think. That was like the best we've ever done. But I think now all the good players have left FIFA 20. It opened up a gap for us to excel.
And we're one of about 4 teams.
No.
Yeah. Also, I just want to shout out to the Mormon Pirates, real MVPs.
Yep.
If you ever listen to this, guys, thank you for being so crap. Right, so now I've got that out of the way. A game that spiked in popularity a few months ago, and I've got back into it again. Fall Guys. So it's on its 3rd season at the minute, and I've watched a couple of videos about this, and the popularity is just absolutely tanked. There's only a couple of million people playing this at a time now, from about 18 million previously. But yeah, it's so much fun. I just forgot how fun it was. They've incorporated some new levels, so that's always good. I've played some of the ones from season 2 that I never got to play. So there's this level where you've got to kind of push these boxes around to jump on them to get over these walls. So that was pretty interesting. But yeah, I just forgot how exhilarating it was and how fun it was. So I've played a few games of that recently. That's been great.
I have to say, I think some of the levels on that have got too overly complicated now. I think that's why I've kind of lost interest. There was like some of the original levels, and they just started adding things to them, didn't they?
Well, yeah, because
extra,
there's to
extra
like
spinny thing and
remix
extra.
them, sort of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did tweaks to some of the levels, yeah, to make them a bit different. Because I think that they got a lot of backlash for all the levels being the same, and then they tweaked a few, so you could have the original level or you could have the tweaked level, and I enjoyed that. I think it gave it a little bit more.
I think they've gone over the top, but that's just me.
Well, what else could you do with it?
Just limit the amount of stuff you do in it. They seem to have changed so many things in the original one. It's like spike things everywhere, holes in the ground all over the place, spinny things. It's like too much. Because then all of them are just having them in. So there's still not much difference between levels.
I mean, they've changed the some of the types of levels are different. I mean, most of them are just like courses that they've changed up a bit. But the one I was referring to earlier is a bit different because you've got to, in a way, you've got to try and work together with people, and it's pretty much pot luck whether you get there first or not, because you've got to move these boxes into a certain position to jump over this wall.
Anybody who played Seesaw in that game knows that teamwork it doesn't go very well.
Yeah.
There's no teamwork on that.
No. It's everyone for themselves, isn't it? Let's face it.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But yeah, literally that's it. I've been playing FIFA and I've been playing Fall Guys. Nothing too exciting. Yeah. What about you, Matt?
For me, right. I don't want to be like the same as you guys, but it's like I've really not played a lot, but what I've played is obviously a lot.
Oh, I know this is good.
Well, I'll start with something that
Is it?
you
Does
might
it
not
rhyme
expect.
with bold for?
No, it rhymes with phasmophobia. Well, actually, it's phasmophobia. So what was it? Not this weekend, but last weekend. We actually got. Usually it's just me and another friend of mine, but we got a third friend to buy it and play it with us. So it kind of like felt a little fresh and new, just having like now another player having to play it and.
Okay, you were all the friends.
I know that's
Yeah,
it.
look at
You've
me.
increased your friendship level by 50%.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting when there's the three of you because like, I mean, you can use mimes, so you could probably find the ghost a little bit quicker and determine like what evidence we need and which ghost it is. But we're starting to like now try and get at least the other like extra three objectives done as well. So it would just be us two, and then we'll try and do it. But you know, if the ghost has been a bit too aggressive and trying to hunt all the time, we just abandon or something. As long as we know like what the ghost type is. But now having like three of us, like it's kind of cool to do a lot more and try and get more stuff done. And it's just fun just seeing the third friend kind of die all the time.
I would like to play that game. I just be carrying the Vander.
Well, it's funny because like
Yeah,
we can kind of
You
like
two
do
in
that.
there. Off you pop.
Yeah, we kind of like do that now. Like one person in the band kind of monitor like what's going on and stuff. Have the other two try and figure out stuff.
Just it gets a bit dicey, I'll just close the door. That's it off.
Yeah.
See you later. Your collateral.
Yeah, especially on like the more bigger levels, we can kind of like play the bigger levels now and it not take forever to find like the ghost's room and what type it is, what's the evidence we need for it and stuff. No, it's actually been pretty good fun for us. Another one, I suppose, rhymed with your previous guess, is Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. But a new Zombies map came out on Thursday, which I was all over pretty much for the last few days. Because I love my zombies, as I probably mentioned before. Don't know if I have. And it's been quite interesting when a new zombies map comes out. Because I follow quite a few YouTubers who like do that kind of zombies content, and they love figuring out I suppose what we call the Easter egg in the game, where it's like, you know, a number of objectives to eventually get to like, I suppose like a boss type enemy at the end, and then you beat it. You like kind of beat the game, and you learn a little bit more about the story of what's going on in the zombies lore, I suppose. So I was watching that kind of mostly Friday, and then once like all the steps got figured out and stuff, Saturday I was just like, right, I'm going to try and beat the Easter egg on my own, and I managed to do it on the third attempt. The first two attempts, I probably got a bit cocky with what we call training the zombies. So like you get to a point where like all the zombies will like start essentially following you. You can like move them around the map to a certain point, kill off a few, keep on moving around and stuff. But I got caught in between two what they call mimics in this map, where they're a new enemy type where they spawn in after so often as like an item on the floor, just like a general item that you think you could pick up, and then as soon as you come up to it, it just pops up and starts chasing you and tries to eat you, which is fun. But I got it done. Got the research done. It's actually a pretty good map. I quite enjoyed it for the story and the lore. So to not spoil anything about kind of who appears in like the last cutscene for the Easter egg, the character actually ends up linking the Zombies campaign to the Black Ops Cold War campaign, but that also links up to Modern Warfare's campaign as well because of another character that appears. Wow. So Zombies is now kind of Modern Warfare's lore. Or like both universes are finally canon towards each other, which is very weird.
In the Call of Duty universe, it's all coming together.
It's very strange. Like, funny enough, I've also been playing. I've been playing a bit of Call of Duty Mobile. I don't know why I downloaded it because I kind of wanted a new game for my mobile. I was like, well, I've not tried the Call of Duty one, so I'll see what like it feels like. It's not bad actually, shooting wise. I mean, it helps if you've got a spare PS4 controller that you can hook up to it.
Yeah.
So you feel like a god among noobs.
That's it. Use the touch controls, peasants.
Yeah, many a game. I'm just like, yeah, top number 1, 30+ kills. Yeah, that's me. I got my first ever nuke.
Oh, nice one.
I've never gotten a nuke in Call of Duty. I've only got it on mobile. Not that it's anything to brag about.
Done by nefarious means, clearly.
Yeah. Oh, it's great.
Just as bad as the modders with their $500 mod patches. Yeah, that's it.
It's great when you play Battle Royale now as well. It's like, I love it. Very good.
You're winning all the time.
Yeah. Can't win Warzone because of the hacks, but I can win mobile. Yeah. The only other game that I've played, out of stupid curiosity from a recent movie trailer that dropped, and ignoring advice from someone who told me it was terrible to play, but I got too curious for it, was Godzilla.
I got which Godzilla?
So the one for PS4, or was it ported up to PS4 or something like that?
Is this just called Godzilla?
Yeah, it's just Godzilla.
Because I've got this, and it's not good.
I know. That was the trend I was talking about. I was like, I was too curious enough because, like, well, how bad could it be? And
is it as bad as people say?
It's not good.
Yeah. Let's say I completed one of the story campaigns where you kind of start off in one area and you play as the Godzilla from is it the 1960s one, I think. It's not quite like the first one, but it's like one later on. And so you complete one area where it's all about destroying this G unit generator.
G unit.
No, they literally call it is G units. It's the amount of energy that a Godzilla I suppose, expose himself, and somehow humans can collect it.
Okay.
I don't know. The Japanese Godzillas are a little kind of over me as much as I'd like to watch them. I feel like they've got enough, maybe too much cheese. Maybe the original one would be fine because it's
Film's good.
the films are a good laugh. Like seeing Godzilla air drop kick a monster is a bit surreal, but but like yeah, so like the game, the whole like premise of it is like you play as Godzilla, you got to destroy these generators, and do some extra stuff to then go on to the next area where you can choose which area you want to go to, and there's like different areas that you link up to towards the end or something. Yeah. But like certain ones will have a kaiju come in and you gotta fight it. So I think like my first fight was against Mechagodzilla, which I thought was cool. I was like, oh, Mechagodzilla, this would be a very good fight. Trying to ignore that the controls at the moment are a bit pants. I don't like how it controls. I don't understand the whole. He's got tank controls. Is the best I can describe it. Like you go forward, you go forward, you go back. You can strafe left and right, but to actually like rotate him is like you got to press L1 and R1, and that just feels really weird to do. Yeah. I don't know. And like the more destruction that you do in the city, the more points you get. The taller Godzilla's meant to grow. But the fighting's just kind of weird as well. Like,
a bit.
Yeah,
it seems like the frame rate's just not.
Yeah, the frame rate kind of doesn't seem to like all the things that are going off when you're slapping down King Ghidorah into buildings and whatnot.
It's like you're whipping your tail around, and then it looks like it only takes like 3 frames. It just looks very.
It's like yeah. I want to say it feels like a PS2 game, but like even the Godzilla games back then were. I suppose they were proper fighting games, so the monsters actually controlled well.
I had a Godzilla game for GameCube. I think it was something like Godzilla versus Monsters or something.
I think there's one called like Destroy All Monsters or something.
I think that was it. Yeah, and that was basically you were Godzilla and fighting all these creatures in this city and like getting destruction point damage.
Yeah.
And I kept getting killed by this giant iguana in the end, and then I gave up.
But it just like for a Godzilla game, it doesn't make you. It doesn't make you feel like you're Godzilla. It makes you just feel like you're a guy in a rubber suit walking very awkwardly.
Oh, it feels like you're just controlling like the action figures.
Yeah, I mean, there's a mode in there. It's like you can actually collect like figurines of all the monsters and different stages and like set them up like the actual figures and whatnot. Like that seemed more fun than the actual mode. And then I decided to do one, I suppose, like what's the best to describe it? Do you know the mode where you have one character and you have to go through kind of a set number of characters, a bit like Street Fighter in effect, kind
like
of arcade mode.
Like a gauntlet kind of thing.
Yeah, gauntlet mode or arcades, as like fighting games would probably call it.
Yeah.
I decided to play as the Godzilla from 2014, the Legendary's Godzilla, because that was kind of the reason why I wanted to install it. Because I was like, I'd like to play as, I suppose, our Godzilla, for lack of a better term. And he felt quite different to the original Godzilla as well. Like, it's just so weird, like doing the fighting. Like, I was fighting Mothra, but in her like lava state, and she was actually giving me like a really hard time because she's small and really hard to hit. I don't know why. It's like if you played Yoda in Soul Calibur 4, I think. 4 or 5, I think it was 4. Like he's ridiculously OP just because he's so small, and you can't hit him. And once I'd finished that mode, I was like, yeah, I think I've had enough of this. I think I don't need to play anymore. So I went ahead and uninstalled it after that.
you did exactly what I did. I got to about 3 levels in it, and I just thought, that's it. I closed it immediately, just and deleted it. So.
I mean, I tried to give it a fair go because I went through the whole like the 7 stages of like the story mode of where the whole point is growing Godzilla up to a higher, like the taller he is, the more powerful he is. And I actually tried to do it again. I gave it a second go where I did the first level, and then I was like, right, I'm gonna go a different route.
Yeah.
I did the second level, got up so much, and then it gave me a choice of like doing a normal level or a hard one. And like the harder one had like a kaiju that I'd already been before, so I was like, oh, this will be easy, it'll be fine. But I went into it, and like the monster was like suddenly 2 times as large, and was much taller than Godzilla, and absolutely kicked my ass. I was like, what the hell? Like, you weren't trouble the first time round. Why have you suddenly trouble now? And I think it was at that point where I was like, yeah, I've had enough of this. I've enjoyed it for what it is. Graphically, it's okay. The monsters look good. The kaiju, Godzilla looks good. The 2014 one, strangely, doesn't have his roar. He has like some generic roar that wasn't Godzilla's, like, where it does, the Godzilla roar, but then Legendary's one has that added little, like, what I quite like, that added little bit to the end, which I think is quite cool. I think that's one of the better things that Legendary's done with their Godzilla. But it didn't even have that. It was just like, Rawr! Like, listen, Godzilla, what was that?
They should have custom roars so you can like have a cat meow or something, or a dog barking.
Godzilla just comes in and goes, meow. Yeah. But yeah, once I've done that, that was enough of that game that I don't need to play anymore. So.
Well, that's definitely a game that I'm gonna buy.
I mean, if you can get it for like £2, you might enjoy it. But...
Is it worth it for £2? Or is it a total waste?
150?
150.
Yeah, 150.
Right, okay. Right. When the charity shops reopen, if I can find it for £1.50, I'll give it a go. I actually want to ask you both a question. I've recently acquired a half decent PC, so I can start actually doing some PC gaming. If you could introduce me to any games that we could potentially all play, what would you advise me to play on PC?
Or what we can all
that isn't for console. Well, I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Isn't for console.
I'm sure Matt would suggest Phasmophobia, as he mentioned earlier.
Yeah, no, Phasmophobia, a good one.
I don't know, man. I don't know, because I've never really got into multiplayer on PC. I mean, I could do, but I don't know many multiplayer games.
See, you put me a little bit on the spot now, because I've got to think of games that aren't on console.
And if anyone that's listening that wants to give me any suggestions, please feel free.
Yeah, I'll think about it, and maybe I can tell you after the podcast.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because at the moment, nothing's really coming to me.
So Phasmophobia right now.
Yeah.
I'll go with that one.
I mean, I'd say I'd like to play Rocket League on PC instead, because I'm much better on PC.
I think I would crap both ways, maybe, but we'll see.
So I'll drag you to Platinum.
No, we'll drag you down.
Yeah, he'll drag me down.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, shall we move on to the video game Hall of Fame?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, sure.
So this is where we take an in-depth look at a game of high quality or historical importance, induct it into our pantheon of games we feel deserve special recognition. Our inductee this episode was released in 1985 for the Famicom/NES. Developed and published by Nintendo. It's Super Mario Bros. And there it is. Ooh, very nice.
Got the cover.
People on the podcast will be able to see this. We've got Matt's got a Bowser cup. He's wearing a Mario jumper. Nathan is holding the actual game.
Yeah.
Cartridge.
I don't have the game.
And a very nice sleeve thing. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, Super Mario Brothers also came out with a couple of half-decent sequels as well. So, yeah.
I agree on them too. So. That's for another time.
So, what is Super Mario Bros?
It's an amazing platformer. That's what it is.
Yeah, so you play the titular Mario as he goes around the Mushroom Kingdom, I believe it is.
Yep.
In search of Princess Peach. Is that right?
Was it Peach in this one, or was it? I think it's Peach in this one, but she's called something else in
Search for a Princess. We'll just say that.
Well, he is Search for a Princess. Yeah.
So, what was your earliest memories of this?
Getting killed by a mushroom.
What?
Well,
wait, them little enemies. The first enemy that comes to get you.
Piranha plants.
Yeah. No. That is my earliest memory of Super Mario Bros. I started the game and I got killed by one of those things. Eventually, I learned how to jump over them and then jump onto them to kill them. When I first started playing, and you apparently punch the blocks to break them.
Headbutts them. Come on.
We're not arguing this. He punches them just because you got that quiz wrong.
Anyway.
No, the quiz was wrong, but anyway.
Yeah, that's it. Beano, sort it out. You punch the blocks in air quotes, and then you can either get coins, or sometimes you get a mushroom that comes out, and that mushroom then makes you grow, and it effectively gives you another life. So you can get hit once, and then you get small again, and then you can just carry on playing the game. If you get 2 mushrooms, you turn into like kind of a Super Mario. Ooh. Hey. And then you can start firing like fireballs at creatures and stuff, which is pretty cool. One thing I didn't know early on playing the game is that you could actually run. So I used to play the game at like normal speed, just walking along. But does the running come in one of the later games actually?
You can run this one.
Yeah.
It's So it's I think it's the button that you use for shooting the fireballs out. I think if you hold that down.
Yeah, then it'll run.
Yeah, so you run pretty quickly. So if anyone's seen any like speed runs of Super Mario, it's ridiculous as every other speed run is.
Yeah, and as you get near the end of the level, you can actually get to like secret locations where you can like jump into different worlds and stuff. So I think the first like secret location I found was on the second level, where you can pretty much go above the level, and then you get to pick one of 3 of these options, and then one of them skips you to like the second world, so you skip levels in effect. And then you just continue playing from there until you find another one. So I thought that was pretty cool that there was like things to find in the game that progressed you along, because you do only get 3 lives, and they can run out very quickly if you're not very good, like me.
How very honest of you.
Yeah, I've not completed it before. I think I've got to World 3, and that's where it all falls apart.
I think the furthest I ever got to was World 5 or 6. I'm trying to remember. And then there's like a night world, I think. I can't remember which one it is. But yeah, I've never managed to complete it at all. It's pretty difficult. But I mean the boss fights themselves anyway were pretty difficult. Apart from the first one, because I think the first one was one where Bowser just kind of jumping up and down and just dodged fireballs, and then Kid Mathew didn't do very well against him because he didn't realize that you had to run under him. All the time I was trying to jump over him, and he'd jump up like perfect timing, like great. But I think once you learn the mechanics of like, okay, dodge the fireballs, at some point he jumps, run under, hit the axe, and then brutally murder him in a pool of lava.
Yeah, that's it, because the bridge kind of disappears and then he just falls in.
Yeah, it's a bit brutal how you you think you kill Bowser, but it's pretty brutal. Was this the one as well? Every time you'd finish like a world, you got to Toad. Was this the one where I kept on telling you actually your princess in another castle?
Yeah.
God damn that Toad. What was the point of me doing this level then? Just tell me which castle.
Why didn't you tell me before? Yeah.
Why are you misdirecting me all the 8 levels previously?
She keeps getting moved, that's why. It's not his fault. He's just relaying the message.
God damn that Toad.
One enemy that I had trouble with? Do you know them bone creatures that you can jump on and they like fall apart? and then eventually they just come back together again, and just continue like walking around. I always hated them because I thought, why could I never kill you? But yeah,
They were quite frustrating. I do like their use in one of the later games, because one of the later games you can use it to jump off of and then get to the top of the level. That's one of the other secrets of like being able to skip levels and whatnot. I do like that was the feature that kind of carried on from the first game. I mean, I should think about it now. What, the first game was like what, 35, 36 years?
yeah,
Old now?
1985 it came out, so yeah.
36 years. Makes me feel really old.
You're the Guardian.
We'll feel young again at some point.
Yeah. So recently, I think we all did a quiz, didn't we, to try and find out a bit more about Super Mario Brothers, and there was some there was some information that really surprised me. So Mario's original name was Jumpman. I didn't really know that before.
I knew that.
Is that what we're calling Donkey Kong?
Yeah,
I think so.
So in Donkey Kong, he's known as Jumpman, and that's where I think you're trying to save Princess. No, I don't know if there's a princess at that point, but it's someone called Daisy, who then gets created later on into a princess in like later Mario games. But I think it's in the original Super Mario. It's not. I think this is where it is. It's not Princess Peach. I think it's Princess Toadstool, because that's her original name.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not. I don't think it becomes Peach until later on. But yep. Some good little trivia there about like why does Mario and his brother have mustaches? Like, well, it's just so they couldn't animate. Well, why would you animate a face at that point?
I think it's so they didn't have to take up the memory, maybe, because there were loads back in those days when they were producing these games. You only had a certain amount of space on the cartridge, so you had to get as much as you could out of it. So
it's all about finding shortcuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in those times, yeah. I feel like programmers were a lot more. They use their resources more efficiently when it comes to like having to hide stuff and that. Like nowadays, you just get what Cyberpunk is. But,
the less is more approach was good.
Yeah.
They really had to think about what they were doing.
I was surprised at the amount of variety of enemies that's in Mario as well. Like, there's so many different types. Like, you got your Goombas, which are obviously a bit more like your introductory enemy. They're pretty basic. You just jump on them, and then at some point you get to the Koopas, the turtles, where if you stand on them, suddenly you've got a shell weapon you can use that could go for you or against you. Like
I was just going to say, I don't know about you, but that killed me more times than it helped.
Those shells were quite nasty.
It killed everything in front of it, but then it bounced off a wall and ended up killing me.
Yeah, I think my favorite ones are the bullet bills. I don't know why. Just angry bullets come flying at you.
Yeah. Did you ever jump on them?
Yeah, that were fun. Well, not against the giant ones that they introduced in later games. They were a bit of an annoyance. And then of course you had the ability to play 2-player in Super Mario Bros. As well, where we got introduced to Mr. Luigi Mario.
Yeah.
Official last names for both characters, which is strange. But I mean, fair play, Mario.
So good they made it twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jinx, touch wood. Hey. Yeah, being able to have like the second character and then switch the colours around as well, which is quite cool. I thought they were just carry on playing as Mario, but no, they made a second character just for the sake of it. Yeah.
What do you think is the enduring appeal of Mario as a character? Why do you think he's lasted so long?
Italian.
Okay.
I think it's his happy-go-lucky attitude. I think he's just such a positive person. I think that definitely helps. I think it's the he was the poster child for Nintendo at a time in the US where they came off the back of their video game crash, let's say, that happened in 1983. And I think it made people believe in gaming again and that gaming could be fun. So I think from that, they kind of rode the wave. They had two other games that came out on the NES. Then they came out with the Super Nintendo version, and it's just kind of gone from there, really. A film came out in 1993, and that wasn't so well received. But for that,
I think I went to see this. That's the thing. I think I can't remember anything about it apart from, well, I know it's bad, but I can't actually remember much about it because I know it was Bob Hoskins, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I can never remember the other bloke who played Luigi.
Was this was after his I suppose his rise to fame with Who Framed Roger Rabbit, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah, I think that was 91. I might be wrong, but I think around then.
Do you reckon that's how he got this role because of that film?
I don't know. maybe just a lot of money. I don't know. Maybe it's just a lot of money.
Yeah,
I mean, you take it with it. Obviously, you don't know it's bad until you do it. So.
Yeah, that's it. I imagine they did it with like the best intentions, but
or maybe he just didn't read the script. Maybe I don't know.
I honestly can't remember anything from that film. It's a proper like blank to me, other than Bob and the Spider. Like I'm pretty sure Bowser was in it, but I can't remember what he looked like. Just everything about it.
But that's the thing. In like the early 90s, it's kind of like the time where there was all these video game films coming out, and they were all generally bad.
Yeah.
I mean, mostly now they're still pretty bad. Mostly.
Yeah, I think for video game films, you put them in a different category because otherwise you just judge them too harshly. I think.
I mean, going slightly on a tangent here, but the thing about video game films is they're not meant to be films. That's the thing. They're meant to be games. You're supposed to interact with them. That's the whole point of the game. The storytelling is in the gameplay, that kind of thing. So that's why to me, that's why it never seems to translate well into a film, because they're two completely different mediums. You're not supposed to treat them the same way. But anyway, that's another story.
Another story.
Yeah, but I think just as a game, it's just such a cultural icon that's continued to today. I mean, you've got Super Mario Maker, which I think is absolutely fantastic, and I just love playing the levels that other people have made. And it was built off the back of Super Mario Brothers as a basis, just with the same mechanics. I mean, that's one good thing that's great about it. Like, it's the platforming side of it had to be so tight, and the controls had to be so tight. If not, then I think it would have failed. But you do feel like you've got so much control over Mario and Luigi if you play 2-player, and it just really helps. Otherwise, I think it would have just died.
It's almost kind of weird how popular Mario did get to a certain extent, because you look at kind of other sort of like, I suppose, poster boys for companies at that time. Like you look at Sega and they had Sonic, and I mean I'm probably unashamedly like a Sonic fanboy, just because like to me, compared to Mario, like Sonic just had so much more like personality and
sass, didn't he?
Yeah, it was cool and he was cocky, and he had speed. And you look at Mario and it was like at the time it was just like what was good about Mario?
Toilet,
yeah,
well, no, it does fix your toilet.
Oh, and another piece of information. Before he became a plumber, he was a carpenter, so we can build you a chair.
I don't know how I got that one right, but I suppose out of the rest of them, the carpenter made a lot more sense. But it was like, I don't know, there's a certain childish kind of charm to Mario. Like I think everything, like graphically, it was everything kind of popped really nice. You know, the design of the enemies, how Mario looked and stuff. I think a lot of it as well, the music.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
the music's really iconic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think at that time Nintendo just was at the probably almost a peak at that point of I suppose game design and music and that and stuff, and just putting it all together, and just making just an iconic character that's lasted 36 years.
Yeah.
And you know, you compare that to Sonic, and Sonic's just been on a downhill since, well, probably Dreamcast.
I'd say yes. In Sonic Adventure, it's just been a bit. Sonic Mania were pretty good, but can you really class that?
Sure, you can. Sonic Mania is probably the best game of this year.
Yeah.
But
do you think there'll ever be a time when Mario gets retired?
No.
No.
It's going to just go forever.
Not forever. I mean, if you say the next 100 years, is he going to be relevant? I'd probably say no. I think people will have moved on.
I think still in 100 years, Mario would still be going. Well, unless like we have another video game crash, I suppose.
I think society will have moved on from gaming in 100 years. I think there'll be something else.
Society will be gaming.
Yeah.
Everyone will be
we'll all be in the Matrix.
VR glasses. Yeah. That's what will be happening.
It's going to be like Ready Player One.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's all I've got personally to say on Super Mario Brothers. Like, just a really iconic game, really influential in its time, and I think it just kick-started Nintendo's rise, and they've just been going ever since.
If it wasn't for Mario, where do you think Nintendo would have got to? Do you think they would exist?
I'd still say they'd exist because you got to think about all the other IPs that they did during that time. You got Zelda, Metroid, a few others that I'm probably missing.
Would that have sustained? That's my point. I'm guessing.
I'd say.
I think Nintendo would still be around, but I don't think they'd be as big as what they are.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't I try and think of anything that's matched Mario in terms of popularity over the last 35, 36 years, and I think the only thing that's come close is Fortnite. Well, Minecraft. I'd say Minecraft.
Yeah, Minecraft. Yeah.
But I feel like recently some like Fortnite has gone big as well. But anything else I don't think any other series has enjoyed has as much consistently good games as what Mario's managed to pump out.
Yeah, just the longevity of the character and the games.
You look at something like Sonic fell off at some point. Crash Bandicoot fell off at some point. Spyro fell off at some point. Halo, has not managed to really capture what Mario.
We'll see what happens when Halo Infinite comes out. But I'd agree. Yeah.
And the amount of spin-offs as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah, I mean,
consistently high as well.
You've got Mario Tennis, you've got the Paper Mario games, you've got Mario Party as well, which I love the Mario Party games.
Mario Party is just so good.
So much fun.
I'm going to be a bit of devil's advocate here, but do you think it's a bit too much? Do you think they should start other characters, other things? So you say Mario Tennis was it?
Yeah.
Why couldn't it be any other characters doing tennis? Why couldn't they just create their own separate IP? It just seems like they put everything Mario.
Yeah, I think because
you think Nintendo, you think Mario. It's just like that's it. It feels like
yeah.
It feels like that. It feels like they can't think of any other things. That's my point.
I think the reason why is because he's the poster child for Nintendo, and people recognise him
because they know it sells. That's what
exactly. Yeah, I mean,
but that's it. I mean, Mario's got a certain like, I suppose, reputation that like Nintendo just doesn't have with any other IP.
It's like they even did a football game for the Wii for Mario. Mario Striker, I think it was called.
Yeah,
but if it had come out of a Yoshi Striker, I don't think as many people would have bought it. And I think they understand that. Or
But if I buy a console, I wouldn't want every game to just feature the one character. That's the thing. It just seems a bit.
Well, it doesn't necessarily feature.
This is just me.
Yeah.
But I'm just as I say, I'm playing devil's advocate. It's just that I just feel like it's a bit too much.
I think it's more the naming of it, because when you get into the game, you can choose whichever character you want generally.
Yeah.
I mean, it's of like the Mario universe.
It's a branding thing.
Yeah.
Branding, yeah. But I mean, I suppose they've just built off that though. Like, you know, you look at something like Super Smash Brothers, you know, just there, Super and Brothers come from Mario, but because of that branding, it's gotten that popularity. But they've got a lot of IPs to go off. Like if I think about Nintendo IPs, I suppose the second biggest IP next to Mario is Pokemon. You know, and I suppose you could argue maybe Pokemon culturally is bigger than Mario, and you know, it's probably the second biggest thing that's managed to last consistently next to Mario. So, but I'd also argue again, like I don't like you look at the Switch, the amount of different games and stuff that isn't Mario that you can get is viable. You know, you've got your Doom, you've got Doom Eternal on the Switch, so. If you want your blood, guts, and gore, there you go.
No, but I'm thinking more first party kind of thing.
First party. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, there's obviously Mario. You've got Zelda.
Is there going to come a point where it gets a bit stale? That's my point. I feel like
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think that it's just the perfect formula, and that any generation of gamers will just lap it up, as they've done for the last.
Well, saying that, it's Nintendo doing the Nintendo thing, isn't it? They've got that own particular market, isn't it?
That's it.
They don't really share the same market as Xbox and PlayStation.
They've got like a quality standard as well that they kind of always reach with like every Mario game, as much as it's just another platformer, still feels new. Do you know what I mean? They've not like you take something like Super Mario 64 and you compare it to like Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
And they're so different, even though like the basic mechanics are pretty much the same. They just know how to keep Mario relevant and still innovate with the gameplay. Like the probably only time that I would say they might have gone slightly stale is probably between Mario Galaxy and Galaxy 2, because that's like the first time they've made a sequel to a Mario game. But I think even then they did enough with Galaxy 2 to still keep it fresh with ideas compared to its first one. I don't know. No company, no video game company has kept their IP as fresh and innovative between games as what Nintendo managed to do with Mario. I feel like Mario is like an exception to every other kind of game franchise that's come before. Because like even now, like you look at Pokemon and people have complained about Sword and Shield, even though it's sold like the it's like the third most best-selling series of Pokemon games. They complained about how I suppose graphically bad it looked, even though it was their first Switch game. But I've not heard anyone complaining about Mario. Maybe Super Mario Sunshine was probably its weakest point. But even then, like I absolutely loved Sunshine. I thought it was a brilliant game. So I don't know. Somehow Nintendo managed to keep that quality high throughout all the Mario games. That I don't know when does when do they drop the ball finally?
Well, they've not done it just yet, in my opinion.
No, I think still Nintendo make the highest quality games. Personally, for me.
I mean, they can get dubbed with being kiddie games, but I don't think they really are as such. Some of them have got adultish themes. I don't think you really need all that generally to have a good game. I mean, Nintendo's shown that they don't need to really dip into that side of things with the first party games for them to be good games.
I think the best thing with Nintendo is that they capture the casual audience the best out of the three biggest console developers. They just know how to tap into that market quite easily. As much as they have critical failures like the Wii U and GameCube, they'll have stuff like the Wii, and now it looks like Switch is going to be potentially their best selling console maybe. So I don't know.
Fix the drifting.
Well, yeah, it'd be nice if they fix the drifting, at least do something about it. But maybe that's where the next Switch comes. I don't know. But yeah, I don't think Nintendo would be where they are now without Super Mario Brothers. So that's just a testament to just how much influence that game had for one company to be where they are today.
So there we have it, Super Mario Brothers into the Video Game Hall of Fame. So if you enjoyed listening to us, please consider tuning in next time. We release bi-weekly on Tuesdays. You can visit our website at jokingdolphin.com, where we post blogs in the Hall of Fame. Also, feel free to follow us on all social media platforms to continue the conversation. You can find Joking Dolphin on Facebook, as well as on Instagram and Twitter at Joking Dolphin. We're also on YouTube, where you can find this very podcast. And until next time, thanks for listening. Toodle pip.
Sayonara.
Bye.